Hello everyone, this is Naerina from 40k Theories and welcome to the September 2024 edition of Patreon Q&A sessions. As you might have already guessed, this was supposed to be actually a, live recording, or live recording, does that work like that? I'm not sure. Anyway, a live session of Q&A, questions and answers, etc, but Rem is sick. Yeah. And I presume that you would not enjoy a session of him trying to make gurgling sounds and trying to answer your questions and you being there just like, oh my god, just man, don't die. And because I'm the one who's making him rest, so now you get to hear my voice. So, as per usual, when you hear my voice on these kinds of videos, Rem has answered your questions, and I'm just reading those answers out loud. And if I have something to add, to any of these questions, I'm just going to tell you that something is from my point of view. Now then, let's get to the questions, before I start rambling anymore. Griffin of Might asks, has it been established what happens to the loyalist world eaters that called themselves the Fangs of the Emperor? And Remley's answers, they weren't strictly world eaters. They were a Black Shield warband whose warriors came from a multitude of legions. I assume they were wiped out, seeing as how their leader, Endrid Har, ended up fighting on Terra during the siege. What Chaos Marine factions do you hope to see in Space Marine 3? None, to be honest, he says. We had Chaos in the past 2 games, so let's go for at least game without them. Maybe involve Necrons as the initial foe, with Eldari becoming the late-game foe trying to stop a prophecy, plus fighting an avatar of Cain could be fun. And I have to agree, yeah, that would be awesome. More Xenos love, everyone, more Xenos love. If you could retcon any chapter into being successors of the Grey Knights besides the obvious with the Exorcists, who would be a good fit? And Rem answers, to be honest, nobody really fits, except maybe the Relictors due to their frequent use of demonic artifacts, but even that would be pushing it. Brandon A. asks, is it still true that the citizens of Terra do not like Astartes on the planet, save for the Imperial fests? And Remley's answers, as in is true by the 41st millennium, I don't think so. I think the people of Terra have moved on, as it were. Has Abaddon made any progress in eliminating the remaining thrice-cursed traitors, the true sons and wolves of Horus? And Rem answers, not to my knowledge, no. What are some Xenos besides the Jokaero that work for the Imperium, or better yet, allowed to live if they work for them, without question? Remley's answers, outside of those employed by Inquisitors or rogue traders? None. And even with those Jokaero... What a difficult word. And even with those Jokaero within the Imperium, they are technically considered slaves, or, at the very least, an oppressed underclass. Zero Hits asks, we've had passing mentions of a Rapier-class Titans, a Titan that was thought to be the smallest of the Mechanicum Titans that are supposedly quote-unquote extinct now. Do you think we'll ever get an example of this Titan, either on the tabletop or in the lore, or is it doomed to be an obscure bit of fluff like the tri-legged Titans of old Mars? Remley's answers, if we do, they'll probably show up as a playable unit in Legions Imperialis. I would have also said Adeptus Titanicus, but that game appears to have been abandoned in favor of Legions, so yeah. A-Dog asks, the Death Company fields vehicles. Does that mean there are Death Company Blood Angels sane enough to drive them? And Remley's answers, no. From what I recall, Death Company vehicles, I presume. Death Company vehicles are driven by quote-unquote sane Blood Angels. I'm fairly sure that the Limatis novel has a Death Company Thunderhawk piloted by a chaplain, but I'll need to double-check since it has been many years since I've read that book. Mike Murdoch asks, hello Remleys, got 2 questions for you. Well, let's start with the first one. Since I heard that one of the Ironhand successors, the Sons of Medusa, replaced much more of their bodies with bionics, are there any non-Dreadnought Space Marines that replaced all but their brain with bionics, or how far one replaced most of it with bionics? Remley's answers, not to my knowledge, no. However, the novel Eye of Medusa, from what I remember, features an Iron Hands Terminator who was struck in the head with his head turning a full 200 degrees before moving back to its original position without incident. Now, the implication appears to be that he is either almost completely mechanical or possibly even undead due to having been resurrected by the keys of hell. But again, it has been many years since I've read the book, so I could be misremembering. With the Vespids now getting new models for Kill Team, which other Tau auxiliaries would you love to see as models? Kill Team or otherwise? Remlay's answers, I'd love to see the Nikasa finally get models, just so we can finally have the flying pancake bears on tabletop. And Naerina very much agrees with this just by hearing the flying pancake bears. Now I'm getting hungry. Damn it. And, Remlays asks, how's motherhood treating you? For those who don't know, I have a 6-week-old with me, not in the room, but, in my life. And she's an incredible experience, let's just put it like that. There have been highs, there have been lows, and she's just, they always talk about these kinds of little kids, babies just stealing your hearts, etc. And yeah, she has done that. She has completely and utterly done that. She's amazing, amazingly frustrating from time to time. I'm trying to learn things with her. And even now I can hear her crying over there. But she's with her dad, who's doing an excellent job, by the way. And yeah, I guess I should be going back to her in a bit. Anyway, and that concludes this edition of the Patreon Q&A sessions. As always, if you'd like your questions answered, then click the link in the video description below and help support the channel by becoming a patron. Until next time, this has been Naerina from 40k Theories, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye!